good evening, everyone, and welcome to At America. Thank you so much. At America is the U.S. Embassy's American Center, and here we have a mission to provide a space for young Indonesians to learn more about the United States. And hello, my name is Patricia Elizabeth. I'm one of the e-guide here, and I'll be your moderator for today. First of all, I want to say welcome to all of you who come here to At America Studio, especially from IPB University. Thank you so much. And hi to all of you who watch this via online platforms. Thank you for joining us today for the SelectUSA Tech Accelerate Your US Growth. Indonesia's startup ecosystem is thriving with innovative companies pushing economic growth and many of these startups now seeking to expand globally. The United States, with its massive markets, advanced technology, and rich partnership potential, is an ideal destination for growth-minded companies. So, before we start our discussion for today, we have trivia quiz for you who join us via online platforms. And the question is it true or false? The SelectUSA Tech program serves international technology startups. You can submit your answer to our social media platforms, and if you can guess correctly, you'll get a live shout-out from us at the end of this event. And now to begin our discussion, we're gonna hear opening remarks from Commercial Attaché, U.S. Embassy Jakarta. Everyone, please give a big round of applause to Melissa Marzalek.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Good evening. Oh, come on. Do you need some coffee? Good evening. All right. Thank you. So thank you so much for being here today. We're so pleased to be here at the At America space and able to present both here in person and, of course, to our online audience. I'm the commercial attaché at the U.S. Embassy with the Foreign Commercial Service. And what we strive to do under our SelectUSA program is support any entrepreneurs, and especially in the tech space, startups who are looking to actually move their business to the United States and how they can do that. And I think we're going to have a lot of really interesting discussion tonight. We're going to have a presentation on the program itself. We're also going to have a fantastic panel discussion with representatives from companies who have not only participated in the program, also have some setup in the United States, as well as talking about our specific program, Select Global Women in Tech, of which one of our panelists is actually a mentee in the program right now. Additionally, we have the fantastic support of a service provider from Acclime, who is able to really talk about kind of the do's and the don'ts and give some really helpful information, I think, for people who are looking at setting up. So we're really excited about the program, and I have a few little facts that I wanted to share before we get started. So in 2024, over 70 startups from around the world participated in our SelectUSA Summit, and they joined our mentorship programs, and they represented over 43 countries throughout the world. And then our SelectUSA Tech and our Select Global Women in Tech, of which Lita is currently a mentee in, these initiatives were especially impactful, engaging over 115 mentees, of which 4 of them are actually from Indonesia this year. So we're very proud of that, and we look forward to continuing to help women entrepreneurs, as well as startups as they pursue this path and look at how they can better be supported for setting up in the U.S. and growing their business. So I will turn it back over to Patricia so that we can get started. And thank you again for being here tonight.
Thank you so much, Melissa Marzalek, as a commercial attaché, U.S. Embassy Jakarta. So without any further ado, before we start our discussion, we'll have opening presentation from a commercial specialist, U.S. Embassy Jakarta. And now, please welcome Pa Mario Simanjuntak presenting on the SelectUSA Tech program. Can we give a big round of applause to Pa Mario? The stage is yours, Pa.
Tes. Thank you, Ibu Patricia. Selamat malam teman-teman, Bapak Ibu semuanya. Thank you for your time to come here out of your busy daily time or tonight. So to introduce again, my name is Mario Simanjuntak. I'm a commercial specialist from the U.S. Embassy Jakarta. I work with here, Melissa from the Foreign Commercial Service. So please allow me to present in Bahasa Indonesia. So okay, so mari kita mulai presentasi. Saya akan berbagi dengan teman-teman untuk program dari SelectUSA Tech saat ini. Oke, tadi Ibu Melissa sudah berbagi mengenai SelectUSA program. Jadi saya akan sedikit berbagi juga mengenai latar belakang SelectUSA program kepada teman-teman semua di sini. SelectUSA program ini adalah misi dari pemerintah Amerika Serikat untuk mengencourage atau mendukung bisnis dari luar Amerika, mengembangkan bisnis mereka di Amerika Serikat. Dan juga untuk dapat membantu menciptakan lapangan pekerjaan di Amerika Serikat tentunya. Untuk apa klien dari SelectUSA ini? Klien dari SelectUSA ini terdiri dari tentunya para investor dari luar Amerika, salah satunya seperti Indonesia, dan juga dengan ada juga beberapa entities atau organisasi tentunya yang ada di Amerika, seperti yang saat ini hadir Bram dari Acclime, salah satu panelis yang nanti akan memberikan sesi panelis tanya jawab. Mereka menyediakan tips kepada para investor dari luar Amerika mengenai do and don'ts untuk investasi di Amerika. Juga ada pemerintah di Amerika, pemerintah federal atau pemerintah tingkat nasional di Amerika, maupun juga pemerintah di tingkat negara bagian di seluruh Amerika. Oke, mungkin teman-teman bertanya mengapa tujuannya ke Amerika. Oke, seperti kita ketahui, Amerika itu adalah negara yang besar di mana penduduknya kurang lebih 400 juta. Dengan penduduk seperti itu potensinya sangat besar sekali. Dengan GDP juga yang cukup besar, ya ini 20 triliun US dollar. Dan sepertiga dari konsumsi retail dunia itu ada di Amerika. Dan juga untuk inovasi teknologi itu ada, Amerika adalah pusat untuk inovasi teknologi di seluruh dunia. Dan untuk untuk melakukan bisnis, Amerika itu adalah salah satu destinasi tujuan untuk melakukan bisnis yang paling mudah di Amerika, di dunia. Oke, selanjutnya untuk talenta di Amerika itu memiliki talenta yang cukup produktif, dan juga untuk edukasinya, untuk universitasnya itu sangat mereka sangat mendukung sekali riset pengembangan dan research and development, sehingga mereka itu menjadikan institusi edukasi yang salah satu yang terbaik di dunia. Dan juga di Amerika itu memiliki resource itu yang sangat banyak, sangat besar. Dan juga untuk sumber energi yang harganya cukup murah atau kompetitif ya di Amerika. Akses untuk energinya itu infrastrukturnya cukup baik di sana. Dan juga yang penting juga itu adalah akses untuk kapital atau untuk modal. Di Amerika itu untuk aksesnya itu cukup bagus untuk para investor yang ingin mengembangkan bisnis ke Amerika, mereka mendapatkan akses untuk bisa mendapatkan modal untuk mendukung usaha bisnisnya di Amerika. Oke, jadi untuk SelectUSA program yang tadi itu adalah program SelectUSA dan untuk SelectUSA Tech itu adalah program turunan dari SelectUSA program. Jadi SelectUSA Tech itu adalah program di mana kami itu mendukung para perusahaan startup untuk yang memiliki teknologi inovasi, yang memiliki teknologi yang sedang mengembangkan teknologi untuk mengembangkan bisnisnya ke Amerika dalam waktu 2 atau 3 tahun ke depan. Oke, apa saja yang kita berikan, pelayanan berikan untuk startup company, untuk startup company yang dari Indonesia, kalau mereka ingin mengembangkan bisnisnya di Amerika, kami bisa menyediakan platform untuk Bapak Ibu untuk berhubung dengan kalau dari pemerintah negara bagian itu ada namanya Economic Development Organization di tingkat negara bagian, di mana mereka itu adalah pemerintah lokal yang mempunyai informasi yang komprehensif. Kalau ada investor dari asing ingin mengetahui insentif atau ingin mengetahui wilayah yang bagus untuk berinvestasi, kita bisa menghubungkan ke pemerintah lokal setempat atau kita kenal dengan namanya Economic Development Organizations, atau itu kita bisa istilahnya Kamar Dagang Industri atau Kadin di negara bagian di seluruh wilayah Amerika. Kita dari embassy kita bisa menyediakan Bapak Ibu yang ingin mengetahui juga mengenai data-data yang dapat kiranya dibutuhkan untuk mengembangkan bisnis, kita bisa sediakan. Selain itu juga kita bisa dukung Bapak Ibu kalau Bapak Ibu ingin mendatangi event SelectUSA Summit, itu adalah puncak acara dari SelectUSA program yang acaranya biasanya diadakan itu setiap setahun sekali. Jadi acaranya itu biasanya diadakan di Washington DC, di mana dengan menghadiri acara itu Bapak Ibu bisa dapat bertemu dengan para pebisnis dari seluruh negara dan juga bisa bertemu dengan pemerintah Amerika maupun tingkat federal maupun tingkat negara bagian. Oke, dari ekosistem dari startup ini adalah beberapa elemen-elemennya yang bisa mendukung untuk investor dari luar Amerika mengembangkan bisnisnya. Jadi ada service provider, salah satunya ada seperti Acclime, ada juga organisasi di bidang research yang bisa Bapak Ibu mendapatkan informasi mengenai perkembangan riset teknologi di Amerika. Juga ada organisasi yang bisa menyediakan funding. Dari situ kita bisa sambungkan para investor ke masing-masing elemen yang ada di sini untuk mendukung rencana bisnisnya ke Amerika. Oke. Ini adalah ekosistemnya. Ekosistemnya terdiri dari venture capital firms yang bisa membantu menyediakan pendanaan untuk startup companies. Juga ada seperti tadi ada sekolah atau universities. Kita bisa juga connect dengan sekolah-sekolah di Amerika. Juga ada investor yang lain di bidang teknologi yang bersangkutan dengan Bapak Ibu, dan juga ada asosiasi yang terkait di bidang teknologi. Oke, kenapa perlu berinteraksi dengan kami dari Kedutaan Amerika, dari SelectUSA Team, karena kami dari Kedutaan Amerika ini, SelectUSA ini memiliki banyak jaringan di seluruh dunia. Jadi bukan hanya di Indonesia, tapi kami itu ada di kurang lebih 100 negara di seluruh dunia, salah satunya Indonesia. Jadi kami itu sebagai tim bekerja sama untuk mendukung para investor dari luar Amerika untuk bisa berinvestasi di Amerika. Dan juga untuk kesempatan dapat bisa networking itu dari kami sediakan untuk para pebisnis. Jadi dari situ banyak yang bisa diambil dari acara dari kesempatan networking ini. Dan juga kita memiliki komunitas yang cukup kuat didukung dari tim SelectUSA yang ada di kantor pusat di Washington DC. Untuk ini kembali terkait dengan ini contohnya untuk informasi di mana dari kantor Kamar Dagang Industri di negara bagian bisa memberikan informasi yang cukup useful atau berguna ya. Ini informasi mengenai insentif. Jadi para investor bisa memanfaatkan informasi untuk mendapatkan insentif dari negara bagian masing-masing. Karena negara bagian masing-masing itu mempunyai keuntungan, mempunyai insentif yang berbeda. Jadi satu sama lain itu berbeda dan masing-masing punya keunggulannya. Oke, jadi acara SelectUSA Summit yang tadi sempat saya share, jadi itu acaranya itu setiap tahun di Washington DC. Oke, acara ini dihadiri oleh tahun ini 2024 di bulan Mei, itu acaranya dihadiri kurang lebih oleh 5.000 peserta. Tahun sebelumnya itu 4.700 peserta. Jadi tiap tahun itu animonya cukup besar dari para investor dari seluruh dunia. Jadi apa yang dapat Bapak Ibu nanti bisa lihat atau experience selama di SelectUSA Summit. Selama di SelectUSA Summit itu ada eksibisi, di mana eksibisinya itu terdiri dari 50 negara bagian di Amerika dan juga 5 teritori khusus di Amerika. Mereka memiliki booth masing-masing, di mana mereka ada perwakilan di booth tersebut untuk mereka memberikan pelayanan kepada para investor dari seluruh dunia. Kalau mereka punya pertanyaan bisa langsung ke booth-nya dan mendapatkan informasi atau data-data dari perwakilan negara bagian tersebut. Jadi kalau misalnya para investor ingin ke negara bagian satu, misalnya mau ke California, habis itu mau ke Texas untuk mendapatkan informasi, itu mungkin butuh 1 minggu ya atau kurang lebih berapa hari, tapi dengan Bapak Ibu menghadiri acara summit ini yang berjalan selama 4 hari, Bapak Ibu tidak usah membutuhkan waktu yang panjang 1 minggu, tapi cukup kurang lebih 3 atau 4 hari bisa mendatangi seluruh negara bagian selama acara summit tersebut. Selain itu ada high level conference atau konferensi tingkat tinggi yang dibuka oleh para pejabat senior dan juga pebisnis unggul dari seluruh dunia. Dan yang penting juga itu ada acara SelectUSA Tech Pitching Competition untuk perusahaan-perusahaan startup companies untuk dapat mengikuti kompetisi pitching untuk menunjukkan atau showcase produk dan service mereka di hadapan para juri di summit tersebut. Ini acara untuk high level conference yang dibuka di tahun 2023 itu dibuka oleh Menteri Perdagangan kami, Gina Raimondo. Dan yang kemarin di bulan Juni itu acaranya itu salah satunya dibuka juga oleh Menteri Luar Negeri kami, Antony Blinken. Kembali lagi ke SelectUSA Tech. Jadi SelectUSA Tech itu program di bawah SelectUSA Summit dan untuk tahun ini dihadiri oleh 700 partisipan dari seluruh dunia. Selain SelectUSA Tech, ada lagi program namanya SelectUSA Global Women in Tech atau SQUID. Itu dihadiri oleh 200 peserta. Untuk SelectUSA Global Women in Tech ini acaranya khusus untuk para wanita C-level eksekutif untuk dapat mendapatkan sesi mentorship dari mentor mengenai untuk mendukung bisnis mereka, pengembangan bisnis mereka di Amerika Serikat. Dari acara summit tahun ini kita ada peringkat untuk partisipasi dari negara mana yang terbesar. Jadi ini adalah 10 terbesar delegasi dari atau pebisnis dari Amerika, dari luar Amerika yang mendatangi SelectUSA Summit. Untuk pertama itu ada dipegang India dan Indonesia ada di peringkat ke-6. Jadi kalau tahun sebelumnya itu Indonesia di luar 10, peringkat 10, jadi tahun ini ada di peringkat ke-6 atau 10 besar. Jadi kalau pengamatan kami itu dari SelectUSA Summit ini berdiri di 2013, itu mengalami kenaikan dari tahun ke tahun. Jadi animonya ini cukup besar dari komunitas bisnis di Indonesia. Mudah-mudahan di tahun depan kita bisa meningkatkan lagi partisipasi dari Indonesia. Dan juga untuk summit ini juga tidak hanya untuk satu industri, tapi tentunya mencakup semua industri ya, industri macam-macam dari industri ICT atau juga ada logistik, ada otomotif, ada clean tech dan sebagainya. Ini tadi yang saya sempat share eksibisi, di mana banyak dari perwakilan negara bagian memiliki booth, masing-masing booth, untuk para investor dengan mudah mendapatkan informasi di SelectUSA Summit tersebut. Jadi ada juga di summit itu ada matchmaking, jadi matchmaking dengan para peserta SelectUSA Summit. Di sini peserta dari Indonesia atau delegasi dari Indonesia, mereka melakukan matchmaking dengan perwakilan dari negara bagian Texas ya. Contohnya. Oke. Jadi bisa matchmaking, bisa juga dengan selain dengan dengan yang ada di booth, Bapak Ibu juga nanti bisa matchmaking dengan peserta lainnya dengan melalui handphone. Bapak Ibu bisa melihat daftar siapa saja yang hadir dan bisa mempropose atau request pertemuan one-on-one dengan peserta tersebut. Oke, ini ada workshop juga selama di summit. Bapak Ibu bisa mengikuti workshop mengenai tema-tema khusus, berbagai macam temanya. Salah satunya seperti bagaimana fundraising, bagaimana untuk soft landing, untuk mengenai research and development, dan sebagainya. Oke, selain itu juga ada di summit itu ada untuk sesi yang industri fokus, jadi untuk sesi yang besar, untuk kita mengundang para pakar dari industri tertentu memberikan presentasi atau memberikan tanya jawab kepada para peserta yang ingin mengetahui perkembangan industri tertentu di Amerika. Untuk peserta dari startup companies yang bergabung di SelectUSA Summit, kami juga akan disediakan satu area untuk peserta tersebut bisa memiliki booth atau bukan booth atau meja kecil di mana startup company bisa mendisplay bisa menaruh materi-materi atau flyer, promotional flyer di meja tersebut untuk bisa memberikan mungkin pada para tamu lainnya, calon investor yang kiranya bisa membantu bisnisnya di Amerika. Selain itu juga ada sesi untuk sharing startup companies di mana mereka bisa sharing pengalaman selama mengembangkan bisnisnya di Amerika. Seperti ini Bapak Ibu mejanya nanti untuk startup companies mendapatkan meja di sini. Ini tidak ada biaya untuk Bapak Ibu untuk bisa mendapatkan meja khusus buat startup company ini. Oke, ini ada juga selain itu startup company yang bergabung dengan Summit bisa mengikuti lomba pitching competition di hadapan para juri. Ini delegasi dari Indonesia. Mereka sedang pitching untuk acara SelectUSA Tech Pitching di tahun 2023 di acaranya SelectUSA Summit event. Untuk kriterianya, persyaratannya apa aja startup companies yang ingin bergabung. Jadi startup companies-nya itu berarti perusahaan yang berusia di bawah 10 tahun atau karyawannya di bawah 40 karyawan, mohon maaf. Dan juga revenue-nya itu tidak lebih dari 10 juta dolar. Dan tentunya startup company tersebut mengembangkan teknologi dan rencana untuk mengembangkan bisnisnya dalam 2 atau 3 tahun ke depan. Oke, ini dia kalau ingin bergabung bisa scan barcode di sini. Nanti kita akan display-nya barcode untuk kemudian di slide terakhir. Dan ini juga squid untuk para pebisnis wanita untuk bisa mendapatkan mentorship untuk kiranya mendapatkan tips-tips atau masukan dari para ahlinya untuk bisa mengembangkan bisnis mereka di Amerika. Oke, jadi acara Select Global Women in Tech ini akan dimulai sewaktu di summit tersebut dan akan berlangsung selama 12 bulan atau 1 tahun, di mana pebisnis eksekutif tersebut mendapatkan counseling atau one-on-one match itu untuk 6 kali pertemuan. Dan mentornya itu adalah untuk para pebisnis yang sudah sukses di bidangnya masing-masing. Juga ada VC, venture capitalist, ada juga angel investors, dan juga ada attorneys. Oke, tadi programnya yang untuk Squid itu 1 tahun. Oke, nah ini dia para peserta Squid berfoto bersama dengan Menteri kami, Gina Raimondo, di acara SelectUSA Summit tersebut. Oke, demikian dari saya presentasi. Kalau ada pertanyaan silakan hubungi saya silakan hubungi saya di email tersebut atau rekan saya Ibu Ari yang ada di sini yang bisa membantu Bapak Ibu semuanya. Terima kasih atas waktunya semua. Selamat malam Bapak Ibu.
Thank you so much, Pak Mario Simanjuntak. Sekali lagi buat tepuk tangan untuk Pak Mario Simanjuntak. What a great and informative presentation. So here we have IPB University. Are you already having a dinner? Teman-teman di sini sudah makan malam? Belum, tapi harusnya tetap semangat ya. Buat tepuk tangan sekali lagi. Thank you so much coming from Bogor to Jakarta. So speaking of startups, I have a little icebreaker here. So from IPB majoring business, right? Business. Okay. So do you know per June 14, 2023, Southeast Asia had more than 4,000 startups with 39 labeled unicorns. So if we're talking about numbers, does anyone know what rank Indonesia is in Southeast Asia? Does anyone know? Indonesia berada di nomor berapa di Asia Tenggara? Guess a number? Hanya nebak aja. Second? Okay, dari sebelah sini ada? Any guesses? Nomor berapa? First? Okay, congratulations. Can we give a big round of applause to this lady? Yes. Indonesia ranked first with the largest number of startups in Southeast Asia. Around half of the total startups in the Southeast Asia region are in Indonesia. Jadi dari 4.000 startups di Asia Tenggara, which is about 2,562 per January 2024, are from Indonesia. So we want to talk about that more. So at America, invite this fascinating panelists to talk about their experiences. And of course, on this panel, we're going to learn on how Indonesian tech startups can get help to grow in the United States. And also, this is a super special one because we get to find out more about the U.S. visas process. So without any further ado, please join me for a discussion and give a big round of applause to Lita Hendrananta, Stephen Wu, Bram, Voeten, and Cassia Waligora. Please join me for a discussion. Over here. Okay, you may be seated. Okay, once again, everyone, can we give a big round of applause? Thank you so much. Before we jump to our discussion, I will introduce the background from all our speakers that join us for today. The first one is Lita Hendrananta. Lita is a CPA and CEO at Narasio Data with over 15 years of experience in U.S. business analytics and fraud detection. She has a vast background in working with companies, government entities, and nonprofits in the U.S. Lita was part of the 2024 SelectUSA Summit delegation and a mentor in the Select Global Women Mentorship Program. Can we give a big round of applause to Lita? Hi, Lita. Hi, how are you?
Great.
Great. Thank you so much for making the time to Add America. And next we have Stephen Wu, CFO of Peris.AI, a cybersecurity as a service startup. Stephen specialized in cybersecurity with over 2 years of experience at Peris.AI. He focused on unlocking growth and value for investors while navigating the complexities of digital protection, ensuring both data integrity and financial resilience against cyber risks. Also, Stephen attended the SelectUSA Summit in 2024 and participated in the SelectUSA Tech Pavilion in Maryland. Give a big round of applause to Stephen Wu. We have over here. Hi, Stephen.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm good.
Thank you so much for being here in Add America. Next, we have Bram Voeten. Bram is a senior regional business development manager at Acclime, specializing in assisting Indonesian entrepreneurs with U.S. business setup. Bram's expertise includes navigating U.S. regulations and supporting foreign businesses through the process. Give a big round of applause to Bram. Hi, Bram. How are you?
Hi, Patricia. Thank you for having us today.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
being here to Add America in Jakarta, Indonesia. And last but not least, we have Cassia Waligora. Cassia is a U.S. diplomat currently serving at the U.S. Embassy in Jakarta. This is her first diplomatic posting. Congratulations and welcome to Indonesia. She holds a Master of Arts degree from the Walsh School of Foreign Service at Georgetown University. Can we give a big round of applause to Cassia Waligora? So, ladies and gentlemen, students, this event consists of 3 segments. We already hear the presentation from Pak Mario Simanjuntak, and now we're going to hear the panel discussion on focusing the U.S. market expansion and visa-related topics, a session featuring speakers sharing strategic advice on entering the U.S. tech market and addressing questions related to U.S. visa. After this discussion, we're going to open question and answer sessions. So please, students, prepare your questions from now on. And after this, we're going to have networking session. You're going to have a chance to meet and connect with the experienced entrepreneurs, investors, and key players in the tech space. So I'm going to start with the main discussion of this program. Let's start with the questions for Lita and Steven. Both of you are joined the 2024 Select USA program last June. We already curious about the presentation that been given by Mario. What has your experience participating in the Select USA Summit program, and what thought about the unique opportunities for tech startups? And Lita, you can answer it first.
Sure.
It's on.
It's on. Okay. So being honest, I actually when I first joined, I came with little expectation
Okay.
because it just happened like when I was informed about this program, I said like, okay, this is perfectly matching my travel plan to US. So mine as well. I went to the conference first, and then I did my side-to-side travel, right? So that's the main reason actually I joined. So I came with little expectation. However, when I was there, it's amazing experience, right? There's pretty much like tech company startup from all over the world. There are over there, as Pak Mario mentioned earlier, there's a pitching session. Like we were given opportunity to pitch, right? And I did not participate in the pitch session this year. However, I could see there are so many amazing innovation from people all over the world. And again, as we know, US is the top market from people from all around the world, right? So we got so many different ideas, amazing ideas in medical, in climate, in so many areas. And so my experience there, I think in terms of like the amount of the people that you guys can meet, like the networking is amazing. I think the information itself right now with the technology, you can actually Google it, and maybe it's not as easy or as convenient when you go there, and then we can access information from different booths, right? Different state economic development office. But the networking, I don't think you can get it because you get literally like what 5,000 people from all over the world in one place. Yeah, I think that's the amazing experience that I experienced.
Okay, so you highlight about the networking opportunities that you get from the Select USA programs.
Correct.
Okay, so how about you, Steven?
Yeah, I think for me and David, yeah, previously we go there, we want to pitch actually,
Okay.
but we register at the last time, so we didn't attend pitch, but we come in. What we learn is in the Select USA, especially from us, yeah, cybersecurity sector, the biggest market is in the USA. It's 70 billion US cybersecurity market. But in Indonesia, only 1 billion cybersecurity market. So we want to know why the gap is so big in there. So we learn a lot in there, and after that we attend a couple of meeting with the VC lah, because as a startup we want to get funded also, yeah, and also lah in America or US, it's I think it's easier to get fund in the US because we are in the tech sector, we are in the deep tech sector lah, yeah, not the tech enabler, yeah. And the third thing is related to the networking. I think, yeah, we go to each state, we asking around, we want to set up the company in the US, which the best state if we want to set up, yeah. But usually the tech startup, they set up in the Delaware, but yeah, we think again, but recently the Cisco moved to headquarters to the Texas, and why that's happened? Yeah, we ask around lah. Yeah, so we know the reason, and then yeah, after that we decide to yeah, we want to which state we want to set up our company in there. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, so both of you are joined the SelectUSA Tech program in 2024 last June. Are you guys meet there back then in June? Are you guys meet each other?
We met, but I mentioned to Steven we didn't get the chance to talk because like BBC network with others.
Okay, so this is like the first meet for you
Yeah.
in America. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's interesting because Pak Mario presentation, there are a series of events that participants can join the SelectUSA Tech program. There are exhibition, high-level conference focus session. There are matchmaking, startups workshops, and the SelectUSA Tech pitching competition. Of the several series of events, which events was the most memorable for you guys? And can you explain more about the series of the event? Lita, maybe can start.
For me, I think I love the exhibition the most.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. Can you
Uh,
tell us, like, what are the booths there and how the anoma there?
like in the exhibition again, like there are mixed. There are some private company, but mainly are from different states. Like so, every single state they kind of pitch to us, right? What are the benefit of setting up the company in their state, right? Like for example, for I forgot which one. I think I remember right now, state of Washington, right? They do have benefit for tech startup for you to come in. They give you a free office for 6 months. They give you access to the funding. Again, like there's so many support that they provide to us. Like different states have slightly different, and they also pitch for us. Okay, like what Steven mentioned, like a lot of IT companies right now move to Texas. Like they kind of like tell us, okay, this is the benefit. So I love the most about exhibition because that's where you can see every single state compete
Oh, wow.
selling their state.
Okay.
The benefits for us to invest in their state.
Okay, what about you, Stephen? What experience that you gained?
Yeah, for me, I attend a lot of VC pitching lah. Yeah, the thing is different lah. In Indonesia, you may see the VC in Indonesia a lot of pitching, but they all are tech enabler lah. But in the US, a lot of pitching is the from deep tech, like healthcare. They know how to get your DNA from the blood or from the saliva or that kind of thing, or also the geothermal thing that I don't know what they are talking about. It's above my above my knowledge lah.
Knowledge, okay.
Yeah, and then yeah, we get a lot of mentoring because after the pitch, the VC guy tell a lot about what to enter the US, how the regulation in there, how's the customer in there. Yeah.
Okay, so one more questions before we move on to Bram perspective. So you guys joined this program last June, so it's around 5 months ago. So how was the SelectUSA contributed to the growth of your company so far? Lita.
Okay. So for me, what I got from there, as I think I piggyback from what Steven said, a lot of the companies there is about deep tech, right? I definitely would love to expand to US, but not now, right? But what I like to, after came back from there, I start to think more about, okay, what is my product development? How can I enter to deep tech? Not just as a tech enabler, because I feel like for me to really grow to enter Indonesia to US market, I need to have a product that really become a solution for the business. Otherwise, I just came in there, opened the companies, which is very easy in US. It's just I know I opened up one long time ago, so it's just a button, and then it's pretty much done in minutes, right? But having the right product fit for the market, I think that's the one that I still in the journey to do that.
Okay, how about you, Stephen?
Yeah, I think as a cybersecurity company, yeah, the big difference is the market size like in there. So what we learn is in America, they're not talking about the cybersecurity service lah. Nowadays they're talking about the AI especially the AI agent lah. In Indonesia, you operate the manually using human to managing 24/7 cybersecurity, but in the US they using AI. So after coming there, we want to create that in Indonesia right now. So yeah, I think that's the first thing, and then the second thing is also if you want to get the fund in the US, you have to do the get the customer in there, set up the company in there, have the employee in there. Yeah, that's also one of our concern.
Okay. That's a really interesting issue that the students here can give a questions to you later. So, but can we give a big round of applause again to Lita and Steven? Those are very valuable experience. And now we'll move on and make me curious to have a questions to Bram as an advisor for Asia and USA market entry. So listening to this experience by Lita and Steven, what role exactly can you play to help Indonesian startups to having a smooth transition into the US market?
Okay. Normally I get a little bit too excited when I talk about this, so I can start talking a bit too much and too many things.
Yep.
I'll try to keep it simple for you, okay?
Yes.
First of all, you need to determine if you really actually need to have an entity in the US or not to be able to operate there. Because if you're a tech company and you're a SaaS company and you sell software, in the beginning you don't need that. You can also sell your software from Indonesia into the US to US clients. But there might be other reasons in the future why you need to have an entity over there. So there are a few hard facts and a few soft facts, the way I call it, for why you need to have an entity inside the US. And three of the hard facts are if you want to hire people there, if you want to employ people, if you want to keep product over there, or if you need to get property, so you want to rent your own office. Then you need to have an entity in the US to be able to legally operate. But there are also soft facts. And soft fact, for example, is if you want to attract funding, as Steve mentioned earlier. Then if you want to attract funding, an American company, American investor, they're much more likely are willing to invest in a US entity compared to in an Indonesian entity. But that's the same over here with Indonesian investors. They're also much more comfortable with the legal system over here compared to that they are that with the legal system in the US. So that's definitely another reason to set up an entity. Another one is if you want to have a bit more credibility when you do business over there and you do business B2B with other companies, and you say, hey, we have an entity in the US that you can conduct business with, all of a sudden a lot more doors might open for you compared to that you come over there and you want to do business with an Indonesian company. Same over here. If an American company wants to do business inside Indonesia and they set up an entity here and they're very serious about doing business here, you have already from the beginning a lot more trust in them that they are there for the long term. They will stay in Indonesia, they're committed to the country, they're very serious, you're much more likely to do business together. I missed one hard fact actually. If you want to set up a corporate bank account inside the US, so often that might be an issue for foreign companies. You cannot set up a traditional bank account in the US with a foreign entity. You need to have a US entity to be able to set up a bank account over there. And why it's so important to have a US bank account is because this might be a bit surprising for many people.
Yep.
You need, for business to business, the most common way of payment is still checks inside the US. So not digital transfer, nothing like that, checks. So I have clients now and they're like, Bram, how can I cash in my checks? I'm like, you need to have an entity in the US, you need to have a bank account there to be able to cash in the checks. It's very strange. Some large companies like Target, for example, they will only do by wire transfer if the order value is more than $1 million. Under that, they pay everything by check. It's still the most common way of payment inside the US. Okay, so now you know a bit more about why you would need an entity over there and if you need one. Then the process itself, well, it can be as simple as touching a button, but it's a little bit more complex like that for foreign companies when you want to set up a company over there. And it's quite important to do it in a diligent way as well, because once you have set up the company, you cannot change it anymore the way that you have done it. There are 50 states inside the US. So the first state that you set up the company, tell me when I need to stop, okay? Because I just keep talking.
It's okay. You still have the time, yeah.
Okay. So the first state where you set up your company is the most important because that's where basically your headquarters in the US will be. For most of our clients, that's still Delaware. As Steve also mentioned, Delaware is still a very popular state to set up your first your first company. But it can also be Texas or Washington or New York or San Francisco. But you really need to look into where is going to be your first entity in the US. And why is that so important? Because that's the entity that you will do all your business with in the beginning. If you have one entity in one state of the US, in Delaware, for example, then you can already sell in all other states to all American companies. So that's a very important thing to note. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, and then when you actually need to hire people, have product or property in any of the other states, you need to do a state registration there to be able to legally operate over there. But why is Delaware such a good place to first set up your headquarters? It's because there's 0% state income tax in Delaware. This counts as well for some of the other states. So I think Texas is a few percent. I mean, most states it varies between 0% and 10%. And traditionally, the more blue states, they have a higher corporate state income tax. California, for example, is 8%. So if you first set up your C Corp in California and you do business in all of the US, you always pay that 8%. It's not something you like. I need to give like a little disclaimer that the federal corporate income tax is applicable, of course, across all states, which is 21% in the US. Okay, so then you know when to, okay.
Okay, so this is a great advice, Bram. So can we give a big round of applause here? So I think the US is incredibly overwhelming to break into, and even more for a startup. So the audience here are college students, and I believe also who watch this program via online platforms, we categorize them as a youth, 18 until 35 age. What age are you? 20? 20? 20? This side? How age? How old are you? 20. Okay, so if they want to build a startup, a business, I think they know about this basic knowledge to get to know more about your market. And of course, Indonesia and the United States have totally different markets and other aspects as well. But before, if we want to have this global growth thinking to expand your business, we're not just talking about knowing your market here. We need to know about the regulation, the technology adaptations. So maybe about the business competitor as well. So Bram, can you tell us what aspect should a tech startup prioritize when considering to the US market?
I think if you want to enter any new market, you really need to commit to it. You need to be very serious about it. Do your homework beforehand, before you go to any new country. Do what Steve and, I'm sorry,
Lita and Steven.
Lita and Steve. Do what Steve and Lita did, right? Go to the SelectUSA event. Go meet a lot of different companies. Go find your partners. Be very well prepared when you go into a new country. Because if you do your homework properly and you're well prepared, that's definitely the foundation of your success. So we set up around 50 companies per year inside the US. And I can often tell already from the beginning which ones are going to be successful very quickly and which ones are going to take a bit more time to get adjusted to everything. Some of them are super well prepared. They have a lot of meetings lined up. They already have their first large clients lined up, all of that. Then they know, okay, this is going to be a success story from the beginning. Others, they need a bit more time to see how to actually enter the market. But then I'm also always saying with setting up the company, wait a little bit until you think, okay, we can actually do business here. Because setting up a company, managing the entity, hiring people, all of that costs money. So only go there when you're really ready to make that step, because it's a serious step. When you go into a new country, you need to commit. You need to operate a few years in a new country before it really starts to pay off. Same with companies to come to Indonesia. You're not expected to make a large profit in year 1. But in year 2, you need to start seeing some green numbers, right? In year 3, you need to become very successful.
Yeah, this is going to be a long journey. So how can they go about finding that information or even knowing where to start, Bram?
So definitely connect more with the people from SelectUSA. They have a lot of resources. Try to talk to other companies who already have been through the journey. maybe join the mentee mentor program if you're a lady, of course. Us men, we don't have that. We need to do it in a traditional
Yes.
way. Yeah, and definitely, I also have been to the Select USA in Washington D.C. Definitely go there because there's a lot of like-minded people that you can learn a lot from. And yeah, you need to go to any new country where you go to the US in person, set up meetings beforehand, be very well prepared. Who do you want to speak to? Connect to these people on LinkedIn. Say, hey, I'm coming all the way from Indonesia to New York. Can we have a meeting? I would love to see how we can potentially work together. You need to be very, I'm not saying aggressive, well, a little bit aggressive in that. Very proactive, that's the right word to do that. Americans, they're very salesy people, right? If American people sell, it's like next level compared to how we do it here. Sometimes we are here a little bit too humble and we're a bit too polite in the way we sell and we see, okay, how it goes. Americans, they knock on every door. So you can do the same to them, okay? Just knock on the doors and then the doors will open for you.
Okay, I highlight one of the skills that you guys need is proactive. So I'm going to go back to Stephen and Lita. After we're hearing about Bram's explanation about this long journey, it's not going to be easy. But how about the fact that we have the biggest number of startups that exist in Indonesia? It's influenced by several factors, such as the rise of the young generations and also the rise of digital awareness. What are the tips for startups to be different and survive amidst so many competitors? So maybe Lita can start.
Okay. Again, you have to be there to be different. I would say that.
Okay.
You have to differentiate yourself, right? Because you need to find what is your value that you can give to your customer. It doesn't matter, right? Which sector you have, you always have competitors, right? Customer always have an option which one they want to buy, right? So if we cannot offer the value, we will go into like price competition, and price competition, it doesn't last, right? And that's why like you have to find differential value. It's okay, I do several trial and errors too, right? Start with one form, it doesn't work, move to another one, try again. And sometimes we can do Indonesia, maybe it's easier like amati tiru gitu ya. Copy,
ATM,
yeah, ATM, right?
Amati,
Tiru
tiru.
and modify, right? So we can always do that. So the key is, I think, be different.
Okay, be different from Lita and from Steven.
Yeah, I think for me, you have to be, yeah, different is the first one, and then you have to solve the problem in the market lah. But yeah, nowadays it's not so easy lah. This one, if Peris.AI is my second startup lah. Previously was the Ritase transport management system we built in 2018, but it goes bankrupt lah when the tech winters come. So after that also, yeah, we learn lah. We be different, we solve the problem, and then the next thing, you have to give the customer is customer experience lah. So they will stick in your product or service or any kind of thing lah. Because right now after the company bought by biggest conglomerate freight forwarder Meratus, yeah, but the customer still using our product until this day. Yeah, I think that's the thing lah.
Okay, so Lita and Steven experienced like trial and error. So how does SelectUSA program itself help you to overcome this issue on your company?
I think for me, as I mentioned in the beginning, right, having met so many different people, network, attending some of the pitch session, right, that kind of open up my eyes, right, of the possibility that we can explore more. And I think that's for us that as Indonesian, we have to go deep, not only become a company that tech enabler, right, but go into deep tech, find out what's the technology. There's so many amazing inventions in US, but actually in Indonesia itself, like if we look into our startup, I don't think there are so many innovation comparison to United States or other country. We are more like our startup is more like tech enabler, not really a deep tech. And I think the next big thing will be deep tech. I think one company that comes to mind is Palantir in United States. They are solving data analytics, but for what? For defense, for government. But they combine so many different data, and they are used by so many defense and government companies. And they are what they're doing is a deep tech.
Okay, so how about you, Stephen?
Yeah, I think for me the biggest I learned from the Select USA or this event is I learned about the how the US market is why the US market is so big because they so advanced in the AI thing, hyper automated. Yeah, so yeah, our company try to also copy that lah. Yeah, I think yeah only that lah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that listening to Lita and Steven, I believe that is one of the thousand of success stories and networking opportunities that Indonesia startup have by joining this Select USA Tech program. One last question to Bram. Can you share some success stories of Indonesian or ASEAN-based business you ever assist?
Well, my biggest Indonesian client is actually not for the US, it's for Australia, but it's Bukalapak.
Bukalapak.
It's a
Yeah,
big
you guys
company,
know?
yeah?
Yeah, very familiar to you.
Yes, so we help them in Australia, so that's not for the US. Oh, for the US, the biggest success story. Oh, for Indonesia, I need more new business from you guys, okay? More new clients for the US. But what I would like to share, we do this quite often together with Select USA, these type of sessions. I think we do in every country in Southeast Asia this year already, Kuala Lumpur, Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, and there's already a lot of interest from them. And after every event, some of the companies, they want to go to the US, and we help them to set up. But to say now which one of them already becomes very successful there, that's hard to say, because I mentioned earlier, it takes some time for them to become successful. I think next year I will tell you which company does like the first $1 million in revenue inside the US, okay?
Okay, so let's move on to Cassia. Hey there, Cassia. Thank
Hi,
you.
hello.
Thank you so much for waiting. And now let's say they're set and ready to go to the United States. And now we get to talk about how the Indonesian community can visit the United States to participate in the Select USA Summit or to start looking at setting up in the US. So, Cassia, can you explain the types of visas that startups and business professionals should consider for US entry?
Sure, and thank you again, Patricia and the panelists, and Melissa and Mario. I don't know too much about tech and investment, but I'm really learning a lot from everyone here tonight. I am here representing the U.S. Embassy to talk about visas. And so, as I mentioned, once you decide, you're ready to get into this market, you want to enter the U.S., what you need first, though, is you need a visa to get in. And so I work in our consular section here. My official title is Vice Consul. And so we handle all the visas for Indonesians that want to go to the US, whether that's for business, tourism, student visas. We do immigrant visas. And I also help out with American Citizen Services. So you mentioned what visas will people need to go to the US? Well, our most popular visa and the visa that people normally apply for is the business tourist visa. That's the B1, B2. So that's the most common type of visa. And for Indonesians, it's valid for 5 years. And you can stay in the US up to a maximum of 6 months at a time with that visa. And so this is the most common visa that most people here in Indonesia are applying for, whether you're a tourist or a person looking to do business and just visiting the US for a short period, whether that's to attend the Select USA Summit or to do meetings with American companies. So that's the main visa you'll be looking into. And then we also have work visas. And so these are visas where you're going to the US for a temporary period, not a permanent period, to work either for a US company or do short-term work there. And these are we have H visas, L visas, O visas. And there's a lot of visas, so more later I can share our websites and specific emails and links where you can go to find more specific information about these. And I know there's a lot of students here tonight. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. I know you guys might be currently pursuing careers right now where you're looking into investment opportunities and different tech startups. And You're all in college, so maybe you're looking at master's programs in the US too, and so we also have student visas, and those are our F visas and J visas for exchanges. And so those are also great opportunities to kind of break into the US for schooling, but later on you can, network with businesses in the US and meet a lot of companies there for eventual investment in the US. And
Okay.
so those are the main types of visas, but there's a lot more.
Okay, that is a really helpful, Cassia, to understand about the differences and what type of visa should be applied for. So, what are the key documents exactly are required for a visa applications, and are there any other documents that could improve approval chances?
Sure. So once you know what visa you want to apply for, like the ones I just mentioned, you'll go to our website. So if you just go into Google too and you look up U.S. Embassy Jakarta visas, it'll take you to all the specific links and the application page where you can apply and start your application to apply for a visa. So first you'll fill out the form. It's called our DS-160, and that's where you'll enter in all your information about yourself and your purpose of travel, what type of visa you're applying for. And that's an online application form that you'll go to fill that out. And then once you've done that and submitted it, it'll have you pay the application fee. And so each type of visa also has a specific fee amount. So for the B1, B2, like I mentioned, that's $185 US, and that's the fee that you're paying for the application. And unfortunately, that can't be refunded. The US government doesn't do refunds, but that's every type of visa has a different amount. So on the website, you'll also see more information about that. And then once you've filled out the application, you've paid your fee, then that's time for you to schedule your interview. And so it'll take you to a calendar where you can schedule your interview on what dates, and then on the day of, you'll go in for your interview, and you mentioned bringing supporting documents, so don't forget to bring your passport, make sure it's valid, your passport, because that's what we put the visa in. You'll need to print out the application, the DS-160 barcode, and all the necessary paperwork for that. And then also, so if we're talking about, you're going for business, maybe you're going to the SelectUSA Tech Summit next year, make sure to also bring maybe a letter from your employer or from your business and your company that's showing this is what you're going for, and showing that you have this intention of going to the U.S. to either attend this conference or to work at this company or to do meetings or just for leisure as well, just to maybe check out some of the different businesses and companies that we have in the States. So those are the necessary paperwork, and it's all online as well, so there's more details that you can find on our websites.
Okay, so since it's not run by the U.S. government, so do you have any tips to application? So here the students maybe wants to join the summit, the application not being denied.
Yeah, so just like my panelists on this panel have mentioned earlier, so make sure you do your research, know exactly what type of visa it is you want to apply for. Do your research about making sure you have all the right documents and even extra documents that during the interview, we might not ask to see all of them, but you should always be prepared. And so the big thing is just preparation phase and making sure you know exactly what it is you're going to the US for. And so those are helpful tips to know. And then just preparing for the interview, don't be nervous. You're just going there and going to tell the officer why you want to apply for this visa and what your purpose of travel to the US is. And so if you just practice your answers beforehand, know exactly what you're going to say. I think some people, it is a very nervous experience, and I see nervous applicants all the time, but I feel like the ones that know exactly what they're talking about, the ones that have prepared and they've, talked to their bosses and their coworkers and people who have done similar things before, people who've gone to the summits or to meet with other companies. I think when you're not honest during the interview and, maybe you're saying something that you found online that you thought would be the right answer, but you're not speaking truthfully, I think that's the most common pitfall, is that you should just be honest and truthful during the interview and make sure you know exactly what you want to explain to the officer of why you want to go to the US, and that you have all those, supporting documents and papers, and that you can, show that you are, we said credibility, make sure that you are a credible student or a credible business person, and that you have an intention of going to the US to pursue what specific event you're going to.
So Cassia, additional question, the interview conduct in English?
So we do interviews in both Bahasa and English. Bahasa saya tidak bagus, but I try to do most of them in Bahasa when I can, and then Obviously, for students, it's actually, so for students though, we do have kind of a mandatory, you're supposed to do it in English, because obviously if you're going to the US to pursue studies, you should know English. And so those are the only ones where we require those in English, but for the tourist visas, any other visas, we can conduct them either in Bahasa or English.
Bahasa kamu bagus. So thank you to all our panelists for sharing this valuable insights. Can we give a big round of applause? Thank you so much. And now we'll open the floor for questions from our audience. Can you raise your hand if you have any questions? Yes, we have one over here. Can you stand up? And then you can state your name and the question is addressed to whom?
Okay, so it's such a pleasure to have a question opportunity. I'm Gatan from IPB University, of course, and here's what I'm curious for. So, based on the panelist's explanation, I want to ask about what is the main issue startup tech in South Asia facing in the US market? So that's my question. Thank you.
Okay, so I think Bram want to do first?
Could you repeat the last part of the question?
Oh,
What's the main issue?
what are the issue that startups having in the ASEAN?
Yes.
Yes.
In ASEAN or
Like the
US?
common issue they're facing as a startups.
Okay. Well, I think you need to. The US is not a very cheap market to operate in and to become successful in. So I think you need to have a bit of a base here already, that you have a certain size in Indonesia before you actually set up a company inside the US and really enter the market. Otherwise, it's a little bit tricky in my opinion. But if you sell software, then you can already start selling that here from your Indonesian company directly into the US. Then you don't require an entity for that. But if you actually need to set up over there, then you need to make sure that you already have a bit of a base over here before you make that step.
Okay, so Steven and Lita want to add the common issues, yeah?
But for me as a cybersecurity company, the hardest thing is, the Indonesia is not famous by the cybersecurity or software, right? So when we come to the US market or any market except Indonesia, like Singapore or UAE, they said, oh, you are not famous for the cybersecurity market. Why I should use your product instead others' product? Example, in US, the best cybersecurity is from Israel, not from the Indonesia. Indonesia is famous for the agriculture, aquaculture, that kind of thing.
Okay, so Lita, do you want to add?
I think the only thing that I want to emphasize again, I think how you differentiate yourself from others competitors, right? That's important. Again, it could be we find your niche market as Indonesian, right? Maybe to start with, to gain traction, you can probably approach Indonesian companies there are in US. There are plenty of them because I used to live in US, so I know there are also a lot of Indonesian-owned companies. Some of them are actually quite very successful. They actually studied in US and they actually expanded to Indonesia. I know there are a couple businesses like that coming from US. So that can be the first step for us to get traction.
Okay, can we give a big round of applause to one questions over here from IPB? Another questions I will open to the floor, okay? Can you stand up? Yes, okay.
Oh, thank you.
It's already on, yeah.
Thank you so much, Patricia. Hello, the panelists. My name is Askar. I'm from IPB University. I think it's one from Brams, because I hear interesting story, like they still do payment with checks, or maybe under 1 million, they do wire transfer. I just curious, like, are there any factors they do that, or maybe some legals from the governments to do that, or maybe just a habit? And if there's any impact in the US by they using checks or maybe wire transfer? Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Bram. The question is straight to you.
It's just because the way they do business over there, so it's really a habit. It's no legal reason to do that. they can do any type of payment, but just so embedded into their company culture over there, that's very different to change that. A lot of countries have these strange specifics that if you're not based over there, it's very difficult to understand. In China and Vietnam, you have the company stamps, right? That you need to stamp any document to make it legally binding. That's also something that we don't understand in most other countries in the world. And it's the same with the checks over there. It's just very old-fashioned. But to answer your question, there's no legal reason why it should be like that.
Maybe it's kind of like new things for them as a students to learn about how to pay and how to do transaction in the US. So another questions from floor before I... Okay. Over here.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. My
Yep.
name is Zinedine from IPB University. So as mentioned before, USA is currently one of the most potential and business-friendly environment for entrepreneurs around the world to expand and grow their business in the US market. And I think what SelectUSA Tech do to support and facilitate foreign business to grow at US is such a great opportunity. My question is, what is the most effective or recommended strategy for foreign businesses to penetrate the market in US in general? Thank you.
Okay. So there's no specific person who wants to ask your questions?
I think it's for Miss Lita since she know two point of view from Indonesia and from USA.
Okay. So the question
Okay.
goes to you.
Okay. So for this one, I think we need to again do your homework, find your market, find your target market, and so that you can enter into the US. Because again, like US is very fast market. Everybody from all over the world want to enter US market because if you look at it, there are 400 million population, and in terms of the income level, they all have a buying power. And I'll give you an example. This is probably not so much of technology, but what happened? So back then, we used to export goods from Indonesia to US, right? And again, through shipment, it takes months, right, for our good to be delivered there. And then what happened is, in this case, we are compete against like people from China. Chinese people, they send their kids to US. And once they graduated from school there, they look into the opportunity in US. Oh, this is good for my family business, right? So they started to open up company in the US, right? And before even they have a customer buying, they already have the goods in the market. So who's gonna win? You know the answer, right? Someone already have the goods in the market, but for us, we still need to ship it. Again, so the point that I want to share is do your homework, really understand more your customer. And that's why like sometimes like even for me, like I used to live in the US, but I haven't had a plan yet to enter the market of US as of right now, or open up companies where I'm thinking because I have already know people over there that I can work with. I rather to right now set up a partnership with them instead of me setting up a companies there, right? Because again, like US has so many different regulations too that we have to adhere to. Like for example, if we want to do business with the government over there, we need to have certain licenses. They do have some benefit that I know of. Like for example, for the lucky me, right? I'm women, right? I'm also considered minority in US. They have a special, I would say, support for minority-owned business. So if you work with a government over there or a big corporation over there, they normally have a certain percentage that they have to allocate for minority-owned business. And that's something that maybe probably we can take advantage of, and then partners with a big corporation. No need to set up the companies right away.
Okay. So thank you so much, Lita, for the answering questions. So I'm going to move on to the online questions. It's for Cassia. So I'm rephrase this question. If a US visa is denied, Is it true that I cannot reply immediately, or if there's like a time frame for it?
Yeah. So if your visa is denied, there's no time limit when you can apply again. You can apply anytime. And so, if you've applied the first time and it wasn't approved then, just think about, what we said before, the preparation, the necessary documents, reflect and make sure what it is that you didn't maybe bring to the interview or something that you wanted to say. And you can always reapply again too. You're welcome to apply as many times as you want. So, if you don't succeed, maybe you want to wait a bit longer, maybe work some more, get some more experience under your belt, some more travel opportunities, and then reapply again when you know exactly what it is that you want to pursue in the U.S. So yeah, it's open to anybody.
Okay, thank you so much
Thank
for the answer. Is there any questions? Okay, here.
Okay, yes. Hello, my name is Fadli Rafidin. I'm from School of Business. At School of Business, we learn about blue and red ocean that relevant to expanding and market targets. And my question is maybe for Mr. Steven. In your opinion, is what strategy is best is make a market or make a relevant to existing market. Kayak gitu. Jadi apakah we striving at blue ocean or red ocean, especially for startup business. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, Steven, the questions go straight to you.
Yeah, I think the best case is start in the blue ocean, yeah. Especially if you want to solve the problem, try to be differentiate when compared to the other company, yeah.
Any more additional to the answer? No.
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 Maybe Miss Lita.
Miss Lita, want to add something about it?
Agree to him. His answer, blue ocean, definitely better. Unless you have a big capital, which is, I think that doesn't mean definition of startup, right? Unless you have a big capital that you want to do red ocean. Because in order for you to do red ocean, normally that you're gonna spend a lot of money in the customer acquisition, right? So you need a big funding to do that.
Okay, thank you so much for the questions. I'm going to move on again to online questions. This question is straight to Lita. So Lita is the one who joined the Select Global Women in Tech Mentorship Program. So can you tell us a little bit about the program and your experience so far? It's your mentor help you to, to explain about how the U.S. market there?
Yeah, so I joined the program, but my program is group mentoring. I did have one session with my mentor, Stephen Colby. He is a patent attorney. So he shared to me that anything that he can help me to access the U.S. market. He can introduce me to some consultant because I shared to him my business, what's my plan, because I used to audit government back in US. So I used to audit city of LA. That was one of my clients, the airport and so on, right? So I do want to serve that market because I feel that's the market that underserved, I think. It's very specific, very niche, right? And he is definitely helpful. And I haven't had another follow-up meeting, but again, I think the key here in terms of the mentoring, I think they are very open. It's just for us to be proactive and start asking them what help that we need. But the help is there.
Okay, thank you so much. I think, okay, one more questions from, yes, there. Can you stand up? Okay. Yep.
My name is Vivi Yunita from Trisakti University, Faculty of Economic and Business, a part of Excellent Class Program. So my questions might be directed to Sir Bram. In your opinion, will economy-related tech be a good startup in USA, or will it flop? And what kind of tech related to economy do you think are needed by the companies in USA? Also, considering how the majorities of startups often flop instead of becoming successful, do you have any advice on how to be a successful startup?
Okay, so you want to know how to be a successful startup in the US?
Yep, I think that's the question. Yeah.
And what I think the economy is going to do. I think the US is the biggest economy in the world right now, and still will be for many, many years, right? So if you want to become a successful company, that's still the place to be. It's the most capitalistic country. So there's the most opportunity over there compared to any of the other countries in the world, in my opinion. So you need to be there if you want to become a successful company. Then for startups, I think San Francisco, California, it's always like the place for tech startups to go to, but that's shifting a little bit nowadays. The reason why is because the wages over there, the salaries of everyone, is quite high. So if you need to hire a small, lean team, you pay there double compared to what you pay in Texas, for example, or other states around the region. So definitely keep that in mind. Don't always just go to California because you think that's where you need to be. Be a bit more creative. Go where you think your people are, your clients are. That's where you should go to. And yes, to become a successful business, you need to talk to the CFO over here on the left side of me to make sure that you always manage your P&L very well. Don't spend more money than that you think you can make, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. So it's a wrap up. Can we give a big round of applause to our speakers for today? Thank you so much, Lita Hendrananta, Stephen Wu, Bram Voeten, and Cassia Waligora. And also thank you for the U.S. Embassy Jakarta, especially for the U.S. Commerce Service, Pak Mariosi Manjuntak and Melissa Marzalek. Thank you so much. Can we give a big round of applause once again? And also to our audience for today, thank you so much for your active participation from IPB University. Woo! So, when I want to close this event, can we show the barcode one more time? For you to join the Summit SelectUSA, please do prepare your device and then scan the barcode over here. From there, you can take a picture and then please do submit and then submit your registration. Talk with your friends and then, yeah. And thank you so much. And earlier at this event, we have trivia quiz for you who joined us via online platforms. And the question was, is it true or false? The SelectUSA Tech program serves international technology startups. And the correct answer is true. The SelectUSA Tech program serves eligible international tech startups developing innovative technology products or service and planning to expand to the US market within the next 2 until 3 years. Congratulations to the username below from answering correctly. So the last, to keep updates for our next amazing event here at America, you can follow our social media. We have on Instagram, Facebook, X, YouTube, AT America. With that, thank you so much for watching SelectUSA Tech. Accelerate your US growth at AT America. My name is Patricia Elizabeth, and see you at the next At America events. Bye, everyone.